What is a lease agreement? A lease agreement is a legally binding contract between the tenant and the property owner or property manager. Because it is a legal document, it is very important to know what you are signing. Most leases are just a couple of pages in length. A longer lease does not mean a better lease. If you think you will need extra time to read the lease before you sign, it's a good idea to ask the property manager for a copy prior to the meeting so you can have time to review and know what you are signing. Everything in the lease is important to read and review, but there are certain parts that you should make sure are included and pay especially close attention to. What are these parts? Check the address to make sure it is correct, including unit number. Check dates that lease begins and ends. Rent amount and day of the month it is due. How and where to make the rent payments. Does it have to be a money order? Can it be a check? Can you pay via Venmo or Cash App if it needs to be mailed? The address it gets mailed to, etc. Make sure you are clear on this. Some property managers will have a due by date, but will give a couple of days grace period, especially if it needs to be mailed to allow for a delay in the mail. This is a courtesy and the rent is still due on the due date. If the rent is late, is there a late fee? How much? What utilities you are paying and what is covered by the property manager. If you need to put utilities in your name, you will need to note the service provider and how many days you have to get it switched to your name. Is there a guest policy? Smoking policy? Are you allowed to have pets? If so, are there certain types and limits? How to report maintenance concerns and what happens at the end of the lease. Does it continue on month to month or does it need to be renewed? If any of these important items are not in the lease, ask the property manager and get it in writing. The property manager can add handwritten documentation to the lease, and as long as you and the property manager both initial it, it will be legally binding. It is very important to get a signed copy of your lease and keep it in a safe place.